I'm going to work through the steps for project 42. So the scenario for this project is Catherine owns 2 fast food restaurants and she plans to invest in the one that is more profitable. Her Excel worksheet shows detailed financial information for each location. So the first thing we need to do when we download our project, if it opens in protected view, we need to click Enable Editing. So once we've enabled editing, be sure to save the file using the correct naming convention listed in the Getting Started steps. So the first thing we need to do for step 1 is we need to select the profit analysis worksheet, and it wants us to add a header to the worksheet. So in this workbook we have 2 different worksheets, the documentation and the profit analysis. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the profit analysis tab, and we want to insert a header. So to insert a header, we need to go to the Insert tab and scroll over to the text group and click on Header and Footer. This changes the view to page layout, and now we can insert the header. And it asks us to insert it in the center section. We have 3 different sections for our header. So here we want to type in Catherine's Restaurant Analysis. And remember to put the apostrophe S on Catherine's, and make sure that you spell restaurants correctly, unlike me. So, all right, you need to have the correct spelling, the correct capitalization, correct punctuation for these steps to be counted correct. All right, so step 2, okay, well, actually we need to click on any cell. So to make the workbook active again, we need to click out of the header. And now we just want to go to our View tab and change our view back to normal. Alright, so step 2, we want to enter the text Catherine's Restaurant in cell A1. So I'm just going to type in Catherine. Okay, so step 3 wants us to enter the text profit analysis in cell A2. And just real quick, I'll review. Columns are in alphabetical order across the top. Rows are listed numerically to the left, the side left. And you can check to make sure that you're in the right cell location by checking the name, the cell name in the name box. So here we want to type in profit analysis. Okay, so in cell A3 we want to change the text from 2015 to 2018. So I'm going to click on cell A3. So there's a couple things we can do. We can double click here, put in our insertion point, and change the 2015 to 2018. We can go up here to the formula bar and just click and change this 15 to an 18. And then the other thing we can do, I'm going to click out and click back in just to show you. You can press your F2 key on your keyboard, and that puts your insertion point at the end of the text in whichever cell you have active. So a few different ways to make editing changes. Alright, in cell D10 we want to enter the value 38,900. So I'm in column D and I'm going to scroll down to row 10. I'm going to type in 38,900. And then we want to use the fill handle to fill the range E6 to E10. So if I click on cell E5, which is the cell that we want to use to copy the formula, you can look up in the formula bar and see the formula for this cell. So it's a sum formula, and it's summing the range B5 through D5. So this is B5 through D5, and then we have the total here. So we want to copy this formula down to cell E10. So to do that, we just want to use the fill handle. So you'll hold your mouse until your pointer changes to the plus sign, and you'll just drag down, and that copies the formula all the way down. And if you click on these cells individually and look in the formula bar, you can see that Excel recognized that we wanted to use the relative value. So when we copy the formula down, it recognized that we wanted to use this range to get the total here. We wanted, in the veggie row, we wanted to use this range to get the total here. So hopefully that makes sense. All right. In cell B11, so I'm going to come over to column B and get in row 11, click cell B11. We want to enter a formula that uses the sum function to total the range B5 to B10. So to enter a function or to add a function to our worksheet, we want to go back to our home tab, and all the way over in the editing group we have the option for some different functions that Excel, some shortcuts that Excel uses frequently. And so we want to scroll through here and find sum, which is the first one. And notice that Excel identifies the range. So if we look at our instructions, we see that we want to find the sum for range B5 through B10, and it's in here. So that's all we really need to do. So you can press the enter key on your keyboard, or you can go up here to the formula bar and click on the check mark. And again, we're just going to use the fill handle. So you hold your mouse until your pointer changes to the black plus, and we're just going to drag it over. And again, Excel is going to use that relative cell value to put in the sum for each of these columns. So if we click on it, we can look up in the formula bar and see that it recognized that we wanted the value for C10 through D10 for this column. And here it should be D5 through D10, and here E5 through E10. Okay. So step 8 in cell A13, so again we find column A and we navigate down to cell 13. We want to insert the text 2018 to 2020 profit. Well, this one we're adding the text to the end of the existing text, so I'm just going to press my F2 key. And now I can type in 2018 to 2020 profit. Okay. And so you should see Catherine Sandwiches and Burgers 2018 to 2020 profit. You can check it here in the cell, or you can look up in the formula bar just to verify that the text is correct. All right, so step 9, we want to enter the information shown in table 1, which is on your instruction page, and we want to enter it into the range B20 to D20. So I'm going to find column B, and I'm going to scroll down to B20. And I'm going to enter the values that's in the table. So I want to put in 25,200. And I'm just going to use my arrow keys to navigate to the next cell, 26,410. And then the last one is 25,780. So now that I have those values entered, step 10 asks us to determine the total profit from each type of sandwich or burger sold between 2018 and 2020. So in cell E15, so I'm going to find cell E15, I want to enter a formula that uses the sum function to total the values in the range B15 through D15. So again, from my home tab, I can navigate over to the editing group, and in the functions, more options for different functions. Again, we just want to use sum. And notice that Excel has identified the most logical range of values that should be summed together, and it is B15 through D15. And that's the range we wanted, so I can just press enter on my keyboard. And again, we want to use the fill handle to fill the range E16 to E20. So I need to click on cell E15, put my mouse up here until I get the black plus pointer, and I'm just going to drag it down so that again I've copied that formula all the way down. And notice, that if you want to check it, you can look in your formula bar and see that, Excel took the relative value and changed as it moved down. So in cell B21, so I come over here to column B and I scroll down to cell 21, I need to enter a formula that uses the sum function to total the range B15 to B20. So again, I can come from my home tab into my editing group And I can just actually click on AutoSum because that's the function that we want to use. And I'm just going to check and make sure that B15 through B20 is the correct range, and it is. So I can go up here to my formula bar and click on the check mark. And again, we're going to use the fill handle to copy this formula across. So you move your mouse, and when your pointer changes to the black plus, grab that corner and drag the formula across. Alright, so step 12. Catherine wants to know the difference in total profits between her two restaurants. So in cell B25, so again, column B, and I scroll down to cell B25, it's asking us to enter a formula that subtracts the value in cell B21 from the value in cell B11. So this time, before we've been using a function that is a formula that Excel created for us. This time we're going to create our own formula. So anytime we have a formula or we create a formula, the first thing we need to do is put in equal signs. So I clicked on equal signs, and now I kind of had to think about the question. It wants us to subtract the value in cell B21 from this value in cell B11. So if I'm subtracting B21 from B11, I need to click on cell B11 first. So I'm going to navigate to cell B11, and I'm just going to click it, or I could have typed that in, either one. And I want to put in my symbol for subtraction. And now I'm going to click on cell B21. So again, column B, and I'm going to scroll down to B21. You can see my formulas in here. You can look in the formula bar and see the formula, and that's the formula I want. So I'm going to go ahead and click enter, and now you should see 31,594. And again, we're going to use the fill handle. So I put my pointer here, get the black plus sign, and we're going to drag that formula all the way across. Alright, so the next step asks us to hide the grid lines for the profit analysis worksheet. So here I'm going to go to my page layout tab, and actually I think I need to go to view tab. I do. And in the show group we want to uncheck grid lines. So notice that the grid lines have been removed from the worksheet now. And then the next step wants to change the orientation of the worksheet to landscape. So now I need to be at the page layout tab. In the page setup group, orientation, I'm just going to change that to landscape. So your workbook should look like the final figure on your instruction sheet, or what you see on the screen. And once you've checked it, you can go ahead and save it and submit it. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or give me a call.